So find a comfortable seat. And let's remember that every time we step onto a meditation seat or a yoga mat, that we have this opportunity to receive a lot of gifts. So take a moment to prepare yourself in that receptive way. What can you open for, for the download, for receiving what your breath and your physical practice can give you today? So let's have a moment to feel where we're sitting. So on your cushion, whatever you're sitting on, see if you can feel your weight. Maybe even move around a little bit. You can kind of find where your sit bones are and get to a place where you feel centered. And then imagine the very base of your pelvic floor is this deep taproot that can just drop some energy down and feel a sense of connection and grounding. We've all seen the beauty of grasses kind of blowing, a field of grass blowing in the wind. And even though those tender roots are not like as deep as a tree root, they're anchored. So imagine that you have this sense of stability, groundedness, but that you're also mobile and free. That there's this sweet, sweet balance between stability and freedom. So where do you feel free? Do you need to kind of move your spine or your head to make sure that you know that feeling of freedom? Maybe the freedom feeling comes in the expansion of your ribs for breath and the release of your ribs as you exhale. Maybe the expansion comes from a deep sense of surrender through your face. See if you can make the exhales just a couple of beats longer than the inhales. You don't have to micromanage your breath, but just get the sense that you slow down the exhales. Notice how beautiful it feels to breathe. Feel the sternum lift to meet the hands. Okay, so hands together. And when you place your palms together, feel into the centering of this mudra. That we bring the left and right hemispheres of our mind and our body together for this state of unity, focus. And into that state, bring an intention. And then let's release the hands and find our way onto our back. All right, so as you stretch out on your mat, turn this light on. See what it feels like to have a joy of lengthening your body, feeling that sense of spaciousness. Okay, so reach, stretch, enjoy, stretch one side, stretch the other side, and just revel in connection of your body to your mind. All right, let's wiggle the toes, roll the ankles a little bit while you're here. Maybe roll your fists, roll your fingers. And then take a deep breath in and stretch your limbs all the way out. And then as you're ready, exhale and draw your knees into your chest and pick up your head. All right, one more time. Expanding big and wide. Feel that sense of space. Exhale. on in. Relax your head down. Let's see if we can rock a little bit, swaying side to side. Put your feet down onto the ground, lift your hips up and scoot them over to the right and pick your knees up and drop them to the left. Let's just enjoy a sense of awakening through your spine that a twist offers. Let your head get heavy and melt. And relax your shoulders down. Find the breath and where does it go? All right, knees back up. Scoot your hips over to the left. Knees come up and drop to the right and open up the rib cage here. Find beauty of your breath. Keep melting your head as best as you can. And then bring your knees back up. Knees to your chest and rock a little bit, swaying side to side. All right, and then let's move into the circles we usually do. So finding your knees, holding on to them, and circling your knees one direction. Going in the second direction. And then going into the third direction where you open your knees away from the midline and bring them back in. All right, right knee and left leg long on the ground. Feel your head get heavy. Feel free to move your ankles and feet around again, so waking things up. Enjoy your breath, a good squeeze through that knee. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and cross the right knee over to the left. A little deeper of a twist than maybe we did before. And let your chest stretch. Feel free to move your arm in any position that feels good to open up through your pecs. Take a beautiful breath. Let your exhale slow down. See if you can remember that slight increase of the length of your exhale as often as you can. Back to center, knees into your chest, pick up your head. And then left knee and right leg long on the ground and feel that stretch and lengthen through your right leg. Feel free to move around in your feet, rolling your ankles, wiggling your toes. Feel the heaviness in your head. All right, and then as you're ready, cross the left knee over to the right a bit. You don't have to make it all the way to the floor. Just see where it feels good and stretch open your chest. Feel into the spaciousness of your breath. Let your pecs open up a bit. Breathing well. And come back around. Knees into your chest. Pick up your head. And put your head down. Cross the right thigh over left thigh. And then draw your knees toward your chest. Just opening your hip a little bit. Relax the weight of your head down onto the ground. And then we're going to lift both legs straight up in the air, arms overhead, out to the side or down, whatever feels good. Engage your core. Let's flex and point your feet here, just opening up your calves, feeling the stability of your center. And we're going to cross the left thigh over right thigh, and knees come into your chest again. Heaviness in your head and shoulders. Feel the weight. Drop the tip of your tailbone down with some nice wide sit bones. A full breath. And then release that. Spread your limbs wide open. Spread out like a star. Reach into your fingers and your toes. Exhale, knees into your chest. And come rolling over onto your side and up onto your hands and your feet. Or hands and your knees. All right, so some cat-cows. Arching and rounding the spine, taking your time. Right, so remember, this is something that can be moved with breath. So feel free to move wherever the breath guides you. Let the pose be as fluid, as mobile as you want it to be. You can step away from just cat-cows, move the spine any way that feels really good. You can move your rib cage around, your shoulder blades, your head can move. And of course, your pelvis, your femur bones. You can curl your toes under and rock back. So just find movement with breath. Eventually, we're going to find this moving into child's pose. Take your knees a little wider apart so you can kind of nestle your rib cage in the basket of your thighs. Feel your hands reach out in front of you. Feel some weight come into your pelvis. So open up the shoulders. Let's walk the fingers a little further. You may come up on the finger pads, kind of lift your palm up off the ground, lift the whole underbelly of your arms up off the ground, and feel that stretch through your body. Relax this, and then walk the hands over to the left side of your mat, so you feel the right side of your body open up. You can have both arms out, you can just have the right arm out, whatever feels good. Drop some weight into the hips. Take advantage of your room that you have in your body, this sense of space. Breathe here. All right, over to the other side. Feel the head soften down. Feel the weight of your pelvis drop in. Come back to center. Up on tall fours, move your spine about any way you want to move your spine. Curl your toes under when you feel ready and find your way up into dog pose. There's no rush. See if you can take your time, pedal your feet, drop one heel, drop the other heel, just get into a sense of whatever kind of awakening you want to have here. Sometimes I like to pick up one foot and then put it down, pick up the other foot. Same with the hands. See if you can seal your hands into the ground. Feel into that way where you can just have a sense of deep connection with the earth. Breathing well. Full long exhales. All right, let's walk our feet forward and come into Uttanasana as you feel ready. Relax your head. Find your breath. Bend your knees a lot. Just feel that sense of ease. Let your head bobble about. Feel free to move your shoulders, shake them, shake your hips. And inhale for a halfway lift. You can hold your legs or the floor or some blocks. Let's pause here for a moment. Breathe here. See if you can spread out all the bones of your feet. Feel the lift from the backs of the knees up into the sit bones and the backs of the knees down into the heels. Feel the arches lift up into the inner groins and the outer arches lift up into the outer hips. Thigh bones straight back. So there's this beautiful spaciousness. And then exhale and melt again. Let your knees bend, soften, release your head. Drop your seat and rise on up. Bring your arms to the sky. Finding your breath. Have your sense of spaciousness. Now, see if it feels good. If you want to cactus your arms or just lean back or anything that feels nice to awaken and open the chest and upper body. And then reach your arms back up. Reach into your hands, hook your fingers, or maybe one hand around your thumb, so that you can feel that deep extension, like you're reaching through your sides of your body. Ribs are lifting away from your pelvis, shoulders are lifting up away from your hips. And then we're going to lean over to one side. You can take your feet a little wider apart if you need more stability to do this. Keep your neck soft. Come back up, change your hands and stretch over to the other side, enjoying all this openness. Breathe here. Back up, a cactus of the arms if you want, and then shake out your hands. Just whatever can be released, like you're just shaking off water, but really we're shaking off any kind of energy you want to let go of. And then find Tadasana. Just notice how you feel standing here. Do you have roots? So just like when we were sitting and we felt that tap root from our pelvic floor, now feel that your pelvic floor, your knees, and the soles of your feet are all relating to that sense of where we melt a little bit to receive the earth, to give to the earth. Find that way that you are connected. Ground yourself. Inhale, reach the arms up, big breath. Fold forward, let your knees bend as much as you want, let your neck relax. Inhale for a halfway lift. The spine is getting longer. Exhale and melt. Step back to dog pose. Feel into that sense of reach and space. Feel free to pick up your feet or pedal. Feel free to seal your hands. Find that quality of yielding. Give the tap roots now to your feet and your hands. Sink into the earth. Find your roots. And then suck up from those roots into the body. Feel that your breath is still finding that pace of slowness and steadiness. When you feel ready, come forward into a plank. Hold yourself steady. If your shoulders need support, put your knees down. There's always ways to protect so that you can feel stable and sure in your body. Integrate to your core, your ribs. Find your breathing. And then you can put your knees down. If you like to put your knees down first, roll the shoulders a couple of times, get that mobility alive. Then inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, melt back down, up onto all fours. Move the spine about. And it feels good. Come back to dog when you feel ready. Lengthening through the spine. Let's lift the right leg up in the air. Extend through the body. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Bring that foot forward. Come to a lunge. Take the transition however your body likes to transition. Hands can be on the floor or blocks. Feel into that lunge. Let your back knee be melty so you're not locked out. Feel the extension of your heart. And let's start to move with breath when you feel ready. Straightening the front leg a bit. You can bow your head. Then bending your front knee. You can put your knee down when you do this. There's so many ways of supporting yourself depending on what your needs are. Find your breath. Someone is knocking at my front door. I want to keep breathing and moving. Find your breath. And coming forward now, walk your back foot forward and come into Uttanasana. Relax your head. Inhale for a halfway lift. Extend your heart forward. Exhale and melt again. Relax your neck. Soften. Step your right foot back. Your left foot is now forward, feeling into your lunge. Extending through the body here. Start to move. Warming up your legs, but moving, really we're just trying to also feel this beautiful connection between breath and movement. This connection is a gateway into the presence of our practice. So if we want the asana, the movement practice in yoga, to be something that serves our mind, our body, our spirit, coming into that connection with the breath and flow of movement is a beautiful doorway into that awakening. All right, put your hands down. Let's lift that left leg up and back. Find your breath, square hips, and place your foot down onto the ground. Come forward into a plank again. Stabilize through your center. Find your breath. We're going to turn the navel to the right. Okay, face the ground with your head and chest, and then back to center. Turn the navel to the left. Back to center. One more time, turn the navel to the left or to the right. Back to center, over to the left. Then when you're ready, you can put your knees down if you want to first, or just come down to the ground if your body supports that. Roll the shoulders. Take any variation of a cobra or an up dog or anything that stretches open the front body. And then exhale and relax and melt. Come up onto all fours and move the spine about. Relax your head back down toward the ground. Child's pose. When you feel ready, bring your right foot forward again. Coming into a lunge, finding your breath. Rise up when your body says it's time. Okay. Maybe your arms reach up, maybe you hook your hands, maybe you're nice and wide. So, pay attention to all the little subtleties of arm position, of back knee position, of grounding your feet, feeling where your ribs want to land. Can you feel stability and freedom in your body? So yield your feet, feel that support and stability of your legs. Feel that you can integrate the core, that your ribs can knit a little bit instead of popping forward. My shoulders bother me a little bit today, so I'm going to keep my arms down instead of rising upward. So just see what feels good for you. Breathing well. Okay. Hands come down onto the ground, hop up onto that right foot, lift your leg in the air. Extend through the spine, and let's put our hands on blocks that are nice and stable, don't have them too high, and then come up onto your right toes. Lift your left leg a little higher, and then exhale and lower that foot down next to the other. If you like chair pose with a block between your thighs, take a block. Otherwise, squat down, bring your arms up, or anywhere you want your hands to be. I'm going to keep my hands down today to protect my body. So what needs support and protection in your body today? Is there a way that you can subtly modify your practice to be just right for this moment? Draw your knees back toward your hips, drop some weight into your heels, feel the taproot drop into the earth. Come on up, stand onto your tippy toes if you can. Find that sense of balance. And then exhale and fold forward. Relax your neck. Halfway lift. When you're ready, step your right foot back. Finding your lunge. Feel that long exhale. Feel the grounding of your legs. When you feel ready, come on up. Arms can come up overhead or anywhere that serves. Feel into your legs. Drop your weight. Feel the grounding. Imagine your feet have the taproot. Imagine your pelvic floor has the taproot. And from that stable place, rise. Feel the spaciousness, the freedom in the spine and open heart. Feel the ribs knit in so that you're not overarched in the front body. House those long exhales. And then when you're ready, hands come down onto the blocks or the floor. We're going to come up into half splits. Stretch that right leg in the air and lift the left hip. Feel the extension through your spine. Breathing well. When you feel ready, come up onto your toes. Feel into that lift of the left hip. And then drop the foot down and put your foot next to the other. One more time for a chair. Drop your weight, a block between your thighs. If you feel like that's nice for your body, you can keep your hands on your hips. You can keep your hands to your heart. You can bring them out, or you can bring them up, or anywhere else that you can think. Knit the ribs in, try not to pop your chest out. See if you can draw the knees back, the knees back into the hips. The weight is in the heels. Breathing deep. Now imagine you weigh 1,000 pounds where you're pushing to stand up, but you can feel your glutes and your hamstrings working to help you stand, and then up onto your tippy toes if you can. Big breath. Exhale, separate your feet and fold forward. Relax your neck. Breathing well. Okay, let's take our right foot forward again, lunging here on this side. You can put your back knee on the ground at any moment if you feel like that's better for your body. Finding your breath, we're gonna twist. So you can do a simple twist with your hand, your left hand on a block or the floor, and twist open. You can go deeper if you want and put your elbow to the outside of the knee. Okay. You can put your hand on your thigh and your forearm on your thigh. You can have your back knee up or down. So find the passage through this twist that is right for your body. Open up through your chest, collarbones stay broad. Neck is long and spacious. Feel those exhales. And unwind out of the twist, rising up again, crescent lunge. Hands come down, back to a dog. So extending through the body again. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Put your knees down if you need it. Find the ground. Arms down at your sides, palms facing the floor. Legs come wide. Inhale, lift everything up. Breathe while you're here. Remember those long exhales. Come back down. Up onto your hands and your knees. Move the spine about. You can either come to dog pose, or if you're subtly skipping some dog poses because it's a lot of weight for your upper body, then just bring your left foot forward. Find the breath. Once you get here, so through dog pose to a lunge, or just to a lunge, you can have your back knee on the ground, or you can lift your back knee up. Find the breath. Rise up if you want to first. If your twist is coming high, sometimes it's helpful to come up first. If your twist is a low twist where your hand is staying on the ground or a block, then just stay there and find your twist. Okay, so remember, back knee can be down or up. Try not to push your left hip out. See if you can integrate into the center no matter what twist you're achieving. Shoulders away from the ears. Twist the core. Remember that dog or the plank we did with the twists? Use your obliques around your feet. Keep the neck as spacious as you can get. All right, release the hand down onto the ground. Back foot comes forward. Hold. Relax your neck. A halfway lift. Get spacious again. Melt. Bend your knees, fold. If you like a block between your thighs, put it there. Otherwise, another round of chair. Okay, so your hands can be at your hips. You can have your hands anywhere that feels good. We're going to twist while we're here. So when you twist to the right, your arms can be out to the side, or you can put your right hand behind your back and put it on your hip or behind your back, wherever feels good for your body. Inhale back. Exhale to the other side. Find your breath. Inhale up onto your tippy toes, or at least onto flat feet with straight legs. And then release your heels and your hands down. Big full breath. All right, let's take your right foot forward, your left foot back, a shorter stance, so not very wide. Reach the arms up. Okay. And let's find any variation of eagle arms. So we're going to bring our left arm up behind our back. And I can't, well, either side, I can't reach anymore. So you might be able to reach your fingertips to each other, and you may not. So you can hold the back of your neck. You can put your hand in the small of your back. The bottom arm, palm is facing out. The top arm, palm is facing in.
Stretch your elbows away from each other. It doesn't matter how close your hands get to each other. Lift open through your heart. Try to notice if your ribs are just push forward. See if you can integrate. And then slowly come forward just a little bit. You don't have to dive forward deeply in this pose. Feel the work of your front leg. Hamstrings and the glutes are kicking into gear. Drop some weight into your feet. And then come on up. Relax the arms. Back foot comes forward. Find Tadasana. Big breath in. A long and slow exhale out. Change sides. Now our left foot is forward. Our right arm is going to come on top. So a good stretch for the triceps. Your hand that's underneath your left arm, put it somewhere along your back. It could be right in at your sacrum or the small of your back. Palm facing up. Maybe your body goes a little deeper. Just see where you naturally can move. This is tricky. This internal rotation of the shoulder for many of us is very challenging. So just be where you are. Lower your hand enough. Take your hand out wider so that it's more toward the left hip instead of the low back. So just find wherever your arm needs to be. If you're very flexible and your hands between your shoulder blades, grab onto your fingers. Top arm and bottom. And then stretch your elbows away, lift and open. And by the way, I mean away from each other. Stretch your elbows away from each other. Lengthen forward. Okay. Tip your body forward wherever it goes. Feel the work. So drop weight into the front heel. The hamstrings and the glutes are working hard. We're anchoring our legs. Finding your breath. And then release that. Walk your back foot forward, arms up. Big, big breath. Exhale and float forward. Let your neck relax. A halfway lift here. Spine is spacious. Melt again. Let's come onto all fours. You can come down through dog pose if you want, or just climb down onto all fours. Lift the right arm up in the air. Exhale and bring that shoulder down. So now it's a little bit more passive of a twist than we were doing earlier. Feel the shoulders move away from the ears. The neck stays very passive and relaxed. How's your breath? Inhale, arm coming back up, hand down onto the ground. Second side, arm lifts. Exhale, slide that arm under. Gaze toward the ground. The neck is soft and spacious. Enjoy the mobility in your hips. Enjoy the mobility in your spine. In your ribs. Come on out. Lift that arm up. And come back down. And we're going to find our way onto our back. Right, breathing well. Rest here for just a moment. We're going to wake up some of our core strength of our obliques. Okay. These are some of the twisting muscles. So first, just bring your knees to your chest. All right, and then we're going to bring our hands straight out to the side like the letter T. All right, so as we drop our knees over to left, we're just going to go a little bit. So don't go down toward your elbow just yet. Knees just come offline. And then what can you do to resist your navel over to the other side? So as knees go left, we're going to resist navel to the right. And then come back up. And we're going to drop our knees over to the right. Just enough where you feel like, whoa, where am I going? I gotta hold myself. And when you feel that, draw your navel and resist it over the other direction. So our knees and our navel are going in oppositional directions. And this wakes up the obliques on both sides, our internal oblique on one side and our external oblique on the other. Back to center. Okay, now we're going to move with breath, and you can do 1 inch off midline to do this movement. So it can be very small, depending on how your back is feeling, how your SI joints are doing. You can have this movement be very small, left and right, and this can do a lot of work for the obliques. If you have a little bit more mobility in there, then you can drop your knees a little further out, cantilevering to the sides. And then if you have a lot of flexibility and mobility, you can drop your knees all the way down to your elbow and lift them back up. So don't think that bigger movements are better movements. Sometimes the smaller movements can really teach us the stabilization forces. We're really trying to learn how to stabilize with these oblique muscles and your transverse abdominis. So don't feel obligated to go all the way out to the side. If you just kind of like lose your core and then you feel like, how am I going to hoist my legs back up? If that feeling happens to you, shrink your distance so that you really can feel that your core is in charge of the whole movement. How is your breath? Your left and right. How is your breathing? Belly turning pose. So make sure you're turning your belly away from the knees. Where is the momentum to pick the knees back up? Can you use your core and not your back to pick your knees back up toward the midline? How's your breath? Once you feel ready, and even on both sides, put your feet down onto the ground. Just rest your hips. Breathe into the belly again. All right, now we're going to interlace our hands behind our head, kind of like, you're about to do a sit-up, but we're not. And then bring your legs straight up like we did in the beginning of class, okay? Find your breath and feel deep stability in your core. Now, this might be too much. So you might be like, ooh, this is going to be a lot for me. And if that's the case, you can bend your knees. So at any point, you can do this with knees bent instead of legs straight. We're going to drop our right leg down toward the ground without touching the ground and lift your right chest toward your left knee. And then lift that right leg back up, chest move down, change sides. Left foot down, left chest toward right knee. We're not touching the ground with our foot, back up. If you're doing this with bent knees, you're just going to start with your knees bent and you're going to straighten out the right leg as your right chest goes toward your left knee and then back to center. Okay, so either way, with your legs bent or straight, whichever feels safe and good for your body. Make sure you're breathing as you do this. Feel into the core. There's a lot of work in your transverse abdominis and in your obliques together. Now, when you feel like you've done both sides evenly, you can bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit, swaying side to side. Okay, put your feet down onto the ground, grounded through all four corners of your feet. And we're going to lift up into a bridge pose. Come on to the tops of the shoulders. Feel your chest open, feel your belly open, and breathe. Ground the four corners of your feet. Your arms can be down at the ground, pressing into the earth. Then release the pelvis down. Rest here for a moment. A big breath. When you feel ready, come rolling over onto your side and come on up. So you can move through a dog pose. You can just come up to stand. However you want to get up to standing is great. You're going to need some blocks. Find your breath. Tadasana. Breathe well. And now check in. Are you a little tender in your back from those twisting actions? If so, be very mindful to do this very gently. This will be the last of the twisting. So your right foot is coming forward, your left foot is back. Straight legs. So we're moving into Pavrita Trikonasana. I like to have the blocks on the inside edge of my foot. You can stack 1 or 2 blocks, whatever works. Right hand on your hip, left arm lifting. Feel that extension and then come forward. No longer do we have our hands behind our back, but come forward with that stability. And when you're ready, bring your hands to rest on the block or blocks. Okay. Start to twist to the right. Round your legs. So the twist is happening from your core. See if you can have a little resistance of your navel going the other way. So try to connect your navel to your back foot. Feel the extension through your spine. How's the breath? Try to keep the hip from poking out. A lot of times we tend to want to push our hips out to the side. Inner thighs rolling back. And then release and place your hands down onto the block. Blocks half lift. Bring that back foot forward. Extend both sides. Sides of the body, both sides, both legs extend, but also both side ribs. When you're ready, melt. Bend your knees, relax your head, let your back soften. And then we're going to step our other foot back. So our left foot is forward, our right foot is back. Shorter stance. You can stack up 2 blocks or 1, however you like to move into this posture. The other thing you can do is have your feet a little wider apart. And that sometimes can be helpful for balance as well. Left hand on hip, right arm up in the air. Find your breath. Extend forward, reach. Put your hands on the block or blocks. Just depends on what your height is needed. Before you start twisting, find your legs. Inner spiral the thighs, feel the sit bones widen, round your front big toe, reach that hip back, keep your hips hugging to the center. Start to move into the length of your spine. When you're ready to twist, move from breath. Exhales, use the obliques. Let your exhales take you there. Once you have your twist, a little bit of a resistance so that you have some stability moving into that back leg. Shoulders are away from the ears. All right, exhale and release. Last of the dog poses. Take your hands down onto the mat. You can take your feet wide if you want and turn your toes in, get a little spaciousness for your pelvis. You can have a normal, neutral dog pose, whatever feels good. As you feel ready, child's pose. You can take your knees close or far, whatever feels nice. Let your back relax. Then we're going to come on to our back. Then we're going to find a bridge pose here. But with a block. So feet are grounded. We're going to lift our hips, and you can put the block on the lowest height, on the middle height, or stack 2 blocks on top, one on top of the other, so that the blocks are across your sacrum. Once you're here, just breathe into what you're feeling. All right, so make sure you have a sense of stability. Heaviness in your head, softness in your shoulders. Feel the shallow pond of your belly. That sense when you breathe out all the way, the kind of hollowing out. Now, you can stay right here, or you can adjust the block any which way you need and do a few different variations. You can stretch your legs straight, so your heels are on the ground and you're opening up the hip flexors a little bit more. You could do this with one leg at a time, okay? And then if you're like, no, I don't like that, then maybe go to where we're all going to go and bring your knees toward your chest and bring your legs straight up.
in the air, so a supported leg up the wall pose with the block. Now, I typically like to lower my block for this, but you do you, maybe you don't need to lower your block. I like the lowest edge, it seems a little bit more supportive for my sacrum, so adjust the block however you need. Melt once you get here, the shoulders soften down, feel that sense of an inversion. You can do whatever you want with your legs. So if you want them to just be here, you can let them just be here. If you'd like to take your legs wide apart and open up your inner thighs, you can do that. If you want to bring your knees toward your chest and get a little bit more traction, you can do that. If you're in the mood for plow pose, then just bring your legs over your head for plow and you can get off the block. So just find what's right for you. Breathe well. The inversion is here, so feel it. Feel the fluids in your legs dropping toward your torso. You might notice your feet getting colder or a little, just like less full. You might feel like they're shrinking just a little bit. Deep inhales. Deep exhales. Bring the knees back in. When you feel ready, you can lower your feet down to the ground. Go ahead and lift your pelvis off that block and just find that sense of surrender where our weight is coming down. Breathing deeply. You can always flip over into pigeon pose if you prefer. Let's see about reverse pigeon pose if that feels like a nice choice to you. You can put your right foot on your left knee and you can reach back and grab onto the back of your left thigh or the front of your left shin with your hands. Interlace your hands. If you can't reach your hands, you can wrap a strap around your shin. Hold the strap. So just find the pathway that's right for your body. Breathing well. Feel free to move a little bit. You can rock left and right. You can do some little circles. You can be very still. Whatever feels good. Return to your breath. Return to the sense of heaviness in your head. Ready? Put your feet down. Find a moment in neutral. We're going to put our left foot on top of our right knee. Reach behind your thigh or the front of your shin. Draw it in. Melt the shoulders. Feel the heaviness of your head. Just drop the weight of your head down. Rest your brain. Feel your breathing. And as you're ready, you can release that leg. If there's anything you need to prepare for Shavasana, by all means, prepare for Shavasana. Any posture that feels good. And then support in any way that you need. So you can put support underneath your knees. You can cover yourself if you're cold. It doesn't matter. Just allow your body to find its most comfortable position. Relax your head.
our breathing. Take your time to feel into a beautiful big breath again. Melt your body one more time. Eventually finding your way onto your side. As you feel yourself coming upright to sit, take your time, find that seat that's comfortable. Place your hands together at your heart when you feel ready. Let's feel into the gifts of our practice, the sense of presence that we evolve through the practice. Offer your gifts, share your energy. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.